in, everybody. Mark Miller here. Rory's with me on the line. Rory Becker, say hi.
Indeed. Hello, everybody.
How are you doing, Rory?
I'm doing good. I did not have to get up today at 5 a.m.
Yeah, yesterday you were on the road and you ended up hitting traffic and not making it in time.
I mean, just to give you an idea, this is 5 p.m. for me. This is when I'm starting. So by this time yesterday, I'd really had it with traveling.
Yeah.
It's a 2-hour meeting. Everything else was spent traveling, and I still didn't get back in time. So sorry about that, everybody.
Yeah, no worries. All right. Well, I had kind of a crappy day yesterday as well. I thought I was going to actually get something closer to working, and I was, battling some sickness. I'm still a little bit of fighting that. And I was not happy with where I got at the end of the day. Let's kind of, I'll tell you where we'll kind of bring you up to speed here, Rory, in terms of what we were trying to do. This is what we built, this magnificent pile of crap right here. There's this, I'll tell you, that's where we started. Where we're going is right here. This is where we want to be.
Yeah, I remember the design for this. It's a lovely idea.
Yeah, we want to have a timeline where we can kind of click and drag these things left and right, set up our timeline. And as we move it this way or this way, we see, I want to have like some sort of, indicator of when it starts and ends. And then I also want to be able to get to the end here and change the length as well for things that make sense in that regard. I'm just noticing there's a lot of...
Wow, that's interesting.
The green screen is it needs a little lighting adjustment here, I think it's a little bit better. Interesting. Hold on. Let's get over here too. Let's move these lights a bit. I think we can make it a little happier. That's looking a little cleaner. Okay, better. Sorry about that. So that's what I'm trying to go with. Now, part of the reason I got into this kind of craptastic place here is that I started with some code that wasn't exactly what we needed. And then I tried to make some changes to it and got into some problems there. And so that's kind of where we are. The source code, whoops, that's not the one I want. I want this one. Here we go. Let me bring that up on the screen for you to see. Here is the new project. I'm calling it TimeLine. Will Bennett says, stuck in traffic has been an excuse since before cars, right? Did your horse break down too? Emotional problems? Rory, was talking to chatted with Rory a bit, and the answer is yes. It seemed like emotional problems were a component as well as
I'm going to say that stuck in traffic led to emotional problems.
Yeah, broken horse. I
think a horse would have been quicker.
Yeah, and he also writes in the chat room, I don't know, this is like revealing too much private personal data, but he says he got home 45 minutes into the show to find no internet at home just as his phone died. And
it's just so bad.
In other words, emotional problems. So Rory, we're feeling for you, buddy. You had a bad day yesterday. I had a bad day. Hopefully we have a better day today. Will Ben also says, I thought of an idea while watching Clarkio. Maybe you'll like it. Have an angel on one shoulder and a devil on the other. Chatters can do devil, keep streaming, blow stuff up. And angel can go spend time with sex positive and cartoon bubbles would pop up over each. Oh, sure. We could do something like that. Yeah. I think it actually is a really fun idea, super fun idea. However, I've got these other higher priority ones. I'm not going to allow myself to change the spec this moment. Yes, try and stay focused.
For now.
We are one episode away from episode 100, Rory. I don't know if you're the kind of guy who believes in magic numbers. I think they're funny that people do, but we're 99 is about as magic to me as 97 or 100. But some people will think that's an accomplishment. So
I think for me, it's more a case of certain numbers are aesthetically pleasing. So I like the roundness of numbers, but I'm not particularly superstitious about them.
Sure. No, I'm with you.
That's about as far as I go there.
I like all of that. I'm happy with all those things. By the way, I was homeschooling the kids, and I was teaching them different bases. One of the things we discovered, which I was like, whoa, when we saw it, was that each base, if you represent that base, like base 2 or base 10, if you represent the number of its base in its own base, it's always base 1, 0 is what it is. Base 2 is 1, 0, 1, 0 is 2 in base 2. In base 8, it's 1, 0, 1, 0 is 8 in base 8. In other words, your base, if somebody says this is base 10, you still don't know what base it is unless you know the base of those digits at the bottom of the word base or whatever it is, right? Is that kind of crazy?
Yeah. I'm just trying to parse what you said. I believe that base anything is the number of distinct digits in. So when you have to represent that digit, you inherently go to the second column and start with a 1.
Right. So even base 16, if I represent, so normally when we say base 16, somebody writes it as the word base and then the number 16, generally smaller underneath it or something like that in the subscripted. But if we write it in using the base 16 to write the number 16, it's always a 1, 0. Anyway, it was a little bit mind-blowing when we discovered that. I was like, whoa, we can't just communicate and say this is the base and say what number it is. We have to tell people the number of the base when we're saying what our base is. But, most people on this planet go deal with base 10. Just an aside, I thought it was kind of fun. So let's get into the code. Well, yesterday the code was kicking my butt, Rory. It was kicking my butt, and
that's never fun.
And I was totally missing you. I was like, oh man, if Rory were here, he could get me out of this mess. He could save the day.
No pressure.
That's what I was saying. No, I was totally you because even if you're hold on, I'm trying to find my timeline. Where's my timeline app? It's not up. Wait, hold on a second. You've got to be there. There it is, right there. Okay, hold on. Is it up? There it is, right there. So here's the timeline control. It's running, and let's start fixing some problems inside of it. Part of the deal on this, and let's see, do I still have let me see. I didn't prep for this. There's the piece I wanted, though, right there. This is kind of the code we took. All right. And part of the reason we're having a problem is the code we took is basically got elements inside, I think, a list box or whatever they're doing. I'm not sure if they're doing a list box or not, actually. Let's see if they are or not. They're doing a grid, okay? We're doing a list box. They're doing so they've got a list of events, I think, and each event has got they have a list of timelines, and each timeline has multiple events. I don't want that. I just want a list of events, essentially. So this XAML is basically, it's got an items control here, and then inside that items control, it's got like another items control. Right here in the data template for the items. See what's going on? It's got nested items controls. That's part of the problem. That's why we're not seeing anything. So we need to go kind of undo that and fix that. And I think we're going to be writing some code for a while before we see anything. But let's at least get started and see what we can do on this. But my goal is, how much time do you have today, Roy? Do you have to leave right at 12? Right after an hour?
Give a little bit. Well, you very closely, I'll actually think about it. Yeah, probably 12, 5 past, something like that.
All right. So we're going to try and get, I shouldn't even be talking because now that we're under time pressure, but my goal is to get these guys drawing. Yeah. 2, getting them draggable before we end the show. And hopefully we'll do it before you leave. And if not, we'll keep going and see, whatever it takes to hopefully get this done. And so that I can come out victorious and not, go home hanging my head again in shame.
So we have a number of horizontal items, and then we wish to affect both their width and their left to right placement.
Right.
Okay.
Exactly.
So the things that you've got there, the actual, so should we say first level items, they are actually items at the moment?
What are these things? These things are, hold on. Let's come over here. They are, hold on, timeline data. Yeah, these are, let me go double check over here on the XAML because I think the XAML's got a connection to it. XAML does not. So it's just here, my item source here on my timeline. My timeline is there. There's the control right there. So it's our timeline control, which is the user control with a list box inside of it. Okay. And I'm setting its item source property, which that was one of the things that we did. So let's go and look at that.
It occurs to me that the items in the list are very similar to horizontal scroll bars, just with the exception that you can change the width of the thumb. Well, sorry, not the thumb, the actual
you're right.
portion.
You're right. They are. I'm going to still go with I'm not going to do that though, because
I'm not suggesting they should be used, however. There's just a visual kind of comparison.
No, I think it's a good idea. I think but I think I want to stay with rectangles because I kind of like rectangles because I observe them, I consider them lightweight. So
absolutely. Yeah.
So I want to do that. So we're setting the item source here to the entries, and we're calling add entry here in timeline data. So timeline data is this piece that we created, which is an observable collection of timeline entries, right? Is what it has, and it also has this total duration property as well inside of it. And we did this to essentially, we changed our data to match the sample code, I think is kind of what we were trying to do. And I'm not entirely sure that this is the right way to do this. I think what I want to do instead is, well, actually, I'm not entirely sure. I now just got the thought that I'm going to get my butt spanked again today, quite metaphorically. You
say again as if that's ever happened before.
It happened yesterday. It was pretty bad. It was like I was like, yeah, I'm hungry and I want to go home. Is basically what I said. So let's look at the changes and what we want to do. I feel like the way to guide me through this is to go over and look at the XAML here and start fixing this and then changing the code to match this. That's kind of what I want to do. So I'm going to stop the app from running right now. And let's come up in here and we'll look at this. So I want to take this data template here. I'm going to use CodeRush's selection increase feature to grab that quickly, cut it to the clipboard, and I want to replace this outer one with it. So I'll just keep using selection increase to grab that and then paste it. I want to do that as kind of my rough idea first, right? In other words, that every single one of the items in here, I don't want it to be a list of items. I want it to be just that individual item on each row of the of the list box.
I think that makes sense. So that way you've got a kind of an abstract object which itself can then declare an offset at the start, a duration, and then represent those facts.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I want to do. Now, we've got some stuff in here too here. So I'm got a binding here, for example, that's going out to the timeline. Now, the timeline was something I just deleted. It was a grid. It was the name of a grid, I think, that was out there. And the grid was going to hold other things. And so that's gone. Total duration, I'm not sure where I want this. I think I could put the total duration. So this, by the way, is the total duration of the view. It's kind of like the idea of a zoom. Right? Yeah. In other words, if I say my total duration, this is useful. By the way, this is a multi-binding. This is one of the things we discovered yesterday, which is freaking really cool about WPF. I think if I learned it, I forgot about it. It was years ago, never used it. But basically, I can set up a multi-binding and then pass in parameters to it. That's what these pieces are right here that I'm passing into it. And these parameters go into my converter here, where I'm looking for the total duration of the timeline, the relative time I'm trying to convert, and then the width of the container. And based on those pieces right there, I take my relative time, total seconds, divided by my total timeline duration in seconds. So this is where the zoom kind of thing comes in here, right? If I say I want a zoom of 5 seconds or a view of 5 seconds, whatever that is, then 5 seconds will span the width of the container. Okay, so that gives me my factor. Then I take my factor, I multiply it by the container width. That gives me my R value here, the thing we're converting, or the number we're trying to get actually. And then and so this is, and you can let's rename this to call this like relative pixels or distance, maybe distance, like that. And then now we're checking to see target type. What are we trying to get right there? And if we're trying to get thickness, which is where it's used here, trying to get a margin, that's a thickness, right? Yep. We're trying to get a thickness, then we're saying, okay, we'll give you a thickness, and the left margin is going to be that number converted.
Yes.
Okay? Now, if it's not, then it's just going to be a number. Like, for example, we use that right down here for the width. we do the same multi-binding call here, right? And by the way, I'm going to have to do something similar here. Whatever I do with duration, I have to do it down here. So let's do that. But right now, this would be in the element itself, and I really think I need to move it out to the user control is what I have to do, I think. Okay, and so what it's going to do is here. This is just the width, so it's going to take that what its duration is and convert it into a number. That's what this thing is going to do, and it's going to convert just that and return just that number right there. That's what's happening there. I'm gonna clean up these two because that's my style. If they're like that, I like them nice and compact, like that. I suppose I'm just observing a divide by zero potential problem. Let me come in here, use CodeRushed split in initialization declaration, then come in and say if that is equal to 0, then I'm going to say factor is equal to 0, I think. Not really sure what else to do. Else we're going to say down here that. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Okay. Now let's go figure out this. Instead of doing total duration here, I want to do it on, I think, my actual timeline user control is what I think I want to do. So I'm going to create a new dependency property here. I'm using the DP template here. Yeah, I'll do it like that, DP. And we're going to call this total duration, like that. And that is property type is of type time span. So I'll type in TTS for type reference of type time span. TTS will give me that, and it's just changed that everywhere. And then the default value for this, I'll type in TTS, again to get that type span reference, dot, and I'm sure there's a 0. There's a 0. Excelente. Okay.
Nice.
So there's our total duration property. That gives us, that DP template gives us coerce event, or essentially that we can go in and modify. So here's the function right here, the method. It's a virtual one, so I can override it and descend it. So if I'm trying to coerce a value that's not okay, I can change it. Okay. Yep. And it also gives me a on changed as well, which allows me to come in and say, whatever, to trigger an event or do something along those lines.
Reactions to that particular change.
Yeah. And so that's what I've got. So I've got those two options right there. Hold on one second here. I've got you should.
Yeah, I just seen that.
What do I?
Bennett has got a few comments going on.
Go ahead. What does he got?
He says, well, instead of using the converter, you can also have all of those as properties on the timeline data class. In other words, it can have its internal value, but then it could manifest those as properties that did those conversions if you wanted to. The benefit, of course, with the timeline converter that you've got here is that you can apply this from any range of different controls that might have those things. So instead of going to, maybe you've got 3 or 4 controls with similar kind of approach, this one converter would allow to sort of nexus between all of them quite happily. Right. So it depends where you want to put your logic. Both approaches are perfectly valid.
Well, I'm feeling pretty good about the converter because not only I also have to drag this thing left and right, and I have to set. Well, actually, maybe not. Maybe I guess I don't need the converter for that. The converter is actually already taking care of the X position and the width. It's doing the 2 things. I was thinking we had 2 more things, but I just realized that is not correct. So I've got total duration now on the. Wait, hold on a second. Disclaimer: I could be wrong. Says. Yeah. Okay. Will Bennett says he could be wrong on that. I should also throw in one of our favorite disclaimers over here.
Disclaimer! Mark doesn't know what he's doing.
We should, always let everybody know that. I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm always seem to be causing trouble everywhere I'm going. Okay.
It's good to have the discussion.
So I think let's go back over into is it timeline? Okay, so we have got to figure out a way to get out of here, and I think there's like a find ancestor. Hold on a second. Binding, and is it binding dot find ancestor? No, it is not. How do I get to the, how do I do that? Hold on. Relative source.
Relative.
And now can I get my ancestor?
Curly's relative source mode is find ancestor, comma,
Mode?
ancestor type.
Oh, okay. Hold on. Thank you. Thank you.
So in the chat room, I have found something that looks like that. Does that look right?
Hold
What
on.
you're after?
Let me see what you got. Kind of. The thing is that I'm not. I need it in a. Hold on. Maybe it's down here. Can I get a mode? Is mode here? No. Where's mode? Binding. Relative source. What do you have? You have mode is find ancestor. Is what you have. What do I get down here?
Let me give you the page reference that I was actually looking at. It's probably more useful. It's a Stack Overflow answer where this happened to be employed, not necessarily in the context that we're after.
Mode. Hold on a second. I think I got it. Okay, here, look. Check it out. I got it. Okay.
There we are.
Find ancestor and then type. Yes, there we go. Ancestor type. And now, can I get my timeline? I think I have to specify type here or something is what I have to do. Type. What is it? How do I do this? Oh, local maybe? And then timeline. Help me. Something like, I feel like it's the word X type here or something like this. What did you, do you have it? Oh, you have it right there.
Colon type, and it was also part of what was up at the bottom. So X colon type space, and then I guess the type itself.
Okay, local colon timeline. Okay. I think we just did that.
That starts to sound good, yeah.
Okay. And I think I can get rid of this as well. Can I put a slash there? That gets rid of it. Okay, cool. All right. So we've got total duration as our first parameter. We've got, okay, that's total duration. We've got start, and then we've got actual width. Now, actual width, we've got the same problem with here. We have to do the same thing. So, but this time, I'm going to take this binding right here, use selection increase to grab it, come down here, paste it, and now here we're going to say, I'll call this actual width, because I'm pretty sure our user control is going to have an actual width. I hope. I think
so
it will.
The path there represents the name of the property on the object you ultimately find, wherein you'll find the data value you're after.
Right.
However, what are we then doing with that value? I don't see anything specifying where that goes.
Right. That's the cool thing I was telling you about. See this? This is parameter 1 that goes to the timeline entry converter. This is parameter 2.
Right. So get the value, name it this thing.
Yes.
So I guess the actual width is not just, it's the source location on that object, but also the name of the thing we're going to hand off to the converter.
Not really. What happens in the converter, I don't see any names coming in here. It's just an object array of values coming in here.
Okay, so
right?
the sequential.
Yeah, and so there's 3 that we're expecting here, 0, 1, and 3. So these 3 variables right here correspond to these 3 parameters. 1,
that's pretty nice.
2, 3. Yeah, I'm actually really excited about it. I'm like, wow, guys, good job. A few times in the process of looking through the WPF spec, I've thought this. I think the only real critique I have of WPF is discoverability is often not there, and maybe secondarily debugging. I would like to be able to debug through, somehow with the XAML as well. Like if we're going out and, we're evaluating a binding, for example, or something like that, right? Yeah. I would love to be able to kind of see that more visually, but, I guess experience kind of makes up for that. Okay, so now we have to do the same thing down here. We have to say, let's take our total duration and come down here and put that in here and do the same thing with our actual width. Selection increase to copy it. Selection increase here to get rid of that and paste in. And now I think we're close. We have to go back to the main here. And is this still going to work? Timeline data entries. This might still work. The item source is going to the entries. I think this might still be okay, is what I think. Let's what the heck? Let's give it a try and see. It's not going to be, I say it's not going to be worse. This could be phenomenally worse. Okay.
I'm sure it'll be fine. That's a little thin, but
I'm going to say it's worse. All right, let's figure that out. So we need to set a height of something here on our rectangle. So let's say our height is, let's say 24. Let's just run that and see if we get any closer. But I didn't see any rectangles. I want to see a rectangle drawn here. Oh, it's over on this side. Nope, still no rectangles. I've done absolutely nothing.
But what's our values for this data?
Oh, good. Yeah, good point. Let's look at the data.
Is
Let's
there
look at
anything other than 0?
Well, hold on a second. So wait, start. I want to make sure I've got all of these here. Do I have a start and duration property on timeline data? Do I have that? I have a total duration. Wait, what? Why do I have total duration here? I don't think I need this here. I think I added this as my part of the end of the other. I'm going to get rid of total duration here. I think we'll still compile.
No
Hold
start
on.
or anything else.
Oh, my timeline data. Oh, I see what was going on there.
Yeah, we want the bound collection and then the item from within the collection. So it's the timeline entry that'll have some of this on.
Hold on a second. I want to set total duration out here on my timeline here. I didn't do that. So I want to say timeline dot total duration. There it is equal to TTS dot from seconds. Whoa, there it is right there. And let's make it 5 seconds. Okay, I don't expect that to make any difference. Maybe it will. Let's see. Because before we had a duration of 0. Wouldn't that be awesome if it did? Oh my gosh. Look at that.
Ooh.
Oh my gosh. I'm excited. So look at this. These are the values right here in the background. We start at 0, go for 3 seconds. The next one starts at 3, goes for 2 seconds.
Hey, that looks pretty accurate.
The problem I think we're having is, look, actual width. We have a problem is that we need to get the client width of that, and I'm not sure how to get that, Rory. If you want to look that up for me, I'm looking the client width of the. Here's the thing that's tricky. Hold on a second. Let's come bring this up so we can see this. Take a look at this. We're in the live visual tree here. By the way, I'm inside of Visual Studio 2019. If this looks a little different to you, that's part of it, and the other part is CodeRushed there. Michael Jolly says drone. Michael Jolly, welcome. It's the Michael Jolly. Welcome back. Good to see you here. All right, so where do we need to get it from? Probably, well, what was I? We were getting actual width from this list box right here. So we're in a list box. Let's see if we can figure by the properties. Look at this. Can we see an actual width property here? Actual. Okay, cool. So let's see if we can actually explore this and see what we're going on. So here, the actual width is 784. What's the border inside? 784. What's the scroll viewer? Ooh, look at that. See that? What's happening? We get to drop to 780.
Slightly smaller.
And now one more, the grid. Okay. So the scroll viewer is kind of what we're looking for. And I'm not sure how exactly to do that. I'll tell you now, Rory, if we don't find this, I've got a cheap trick to fix this, which is, there's my converter, which is container width. Let's set a breakpoint here, and let's resize, and let's do this. Here's my cheap trick, times 0.9. You basically make it 90% of what its actual width is. That's the width we go for. Because it's basically a zoom, right? We could kind of just say that. And then now look, killer. We've gotten rid of those. Okay, so not bad. All right, we can click on these. Now I can't drag them yet. We need to implement the dragging. And I want to also I want to see the names. Let's do the see the names part first. By the way, one of the things I discovered, I'm not sure when Visual Studio added this feature, but I love it. I can change my XAML while I'm debugging, and it updates it in many cases. Have you ever seen this before,
wow.
Rory?
I have not, but that reminds me of, don't they have a similar thing at the ASP.NET where if you tie it in correctly, it'll adopt CSS changes and so forth?
Yeah, we've seen that in TypeScript for sure.
Browser link,
right?
I think they call that.
It's awesome. From the standpoint of good design, it's really good because it tightens the edit feedback loop cycle, right? Yeah. Whereas instead of having to compile and read, instead of doing edit, compile, and then get the feedback, it's edit, and then get the feedback more immediately.
The tighter you can make that loop, the
Yeah.
quicker you can respond, and you kind of raise yourself to another level when you're evaluating what you can do. You're not thinking so much about, I have to wait for this thing to update. And your mind doesn't drift as much. It's good.
Take a look at this. Look at this. What's happening in the chat room here, and over here to my right over here. Will Bennett has brought up more coins. SQL Mr. Magoo is out saying, I'm getting me some coins. We got to be able to do something with those coins. I think what I want to have them do is be able to buy upgrades for your drone. Like make it, bigger. Give it the ability. Give it shields. Have the ability to fire missiles. Right.
Extra lives if you happen to have worn them out. On
Right.
that wall.
Exactly. Like or like in Mario Kart where you have invincibility for a certain period of time. Right. And also I want to put power ups. I want to do all that, but that's also off to the side right now. Okay. So next I need to be able to click and drag these. So to do that.
The names first.
Oh, names first. Right. Names. Yeah, let's do names right now. Let's see if I'm right, or let's see if Visual Studio is as awesome as I'm saying that it is.
This is what led to the discussion on XAML being able to change whilst the application is still running.
Yeah, I'm going to see if we can do this. So we need to put in, there's no way that I know of to get a rectangle to put text inside of it. So we need like a text block is what we need. And hold on one second here. I don't need to name this. And I get an error. And it says the property visual tree is set more than once. And I think what that means, let me just use selection increase to get all that, cut it to the clipboard. I think I need something else here. Let's do a grid. Come on, grid.
Right, so you need a single root object inside a data template. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, exactly. Sounds like somebody exploded. Uh-oh, we got the warp problem. By the way, the warp problem, Rory, that warp problem that you're seeing with SQL Mr. Magoo, I suspect that that's caused to resource problems. It does not happen in the regular version.
In Chrome.
In Chrome. It does not happen in Chrome. We could not reproduce it. I was like, what? Which means we couldn't, step through it. We couldn't figure out what's going on.
Sure.
So it's absolutely crazy is kind of what I'll say on that. So SQL Mr. Magoo's got about 100 different copies of himself out there. Okay, so rectangle there. We've got a text block right over it. I want the text. I want to do a binding. I think I named the property name. Maybe it'll be as easy as that. Let's hit save. Let's come over here. Oh, look at that.
Oh, look at that. That's very nice.
Oh, except for we got a problem here, though. See what's going on? Test 2, test 1. Also, we need to change the background. But isn't this awesome, Rory?
That's really good. That speeds this process up no end.
Yeah. No, this is like, there are times when I want to just hug the WPF team.
Hug a dev.
And there are times where I'm like, I want to be like, wait, how do I do this again? So it's like I go back and forth with these guys. Oh, and actually in this case, this is not the WPF team. This is the Visual Studio team. This is, from my perspective, excellent work. Really insightful that this was an important feature, and I'm glad that this has been implemented. Okay, guess what I need to do, Rory? I need to get this thing similarly indented, just like we're doing here, and here. I need to set its width and its margin, just like I'm doing here. So I'm going to copy these. I can't really think of a more efficient way to do this. And we're going to, I put it in the right spot. And I'm going to say, change this to text block. And change this one to text block. And is that all I need to do? Duration, yeah. I'm going to set its width. Wait, what's happening with the width? Oh, it's set more than once, I bet. Yeah, there it is right there. So it's because I set the width here to auto. And if I take that out and save it, is it going to update? Look at that.
Look at that. That's really nice.
Now, I would really like to get those in. I wonder if I can bring those in with padding. Can I do that with padding?
So.
Let's say padding is equal to 2.
Is it padding and margin? Something.
Yeah, look at that.
It's bound to be something.
Totally doing. It's totally working. Look at that. I don't even have to do, oh my God, anything else.
The
All right.
speed. I mean, this is the perfect example here, right? So
Yeah.
you're doing visual tuning, okay? And normally speaking, what you have to do is you have to stop the application, modify the code, run it up. That's got to be 2-3 seconds turnaround total, right?
Yeah.
But here, you could literally, I mean, actually, if you're working on a single screen, I'm willing to bet that actually you dock Studio left, your application right, or on a second monitor. You're not even having to waste that time tabbing between the two applications at that point.
Yeah, it's really beautiful.
Really nice and quick.
Yeah. Yeah, it's good. You just got my seal of approval, Visual Studio team. You got that Mark Miller seal of approval. That'll be coming in the mail. All right, so I'm super pleased with this now. This looks really, really cool. And what's our time? Holy cow, we're only just a little bit over 30 minutes, Roy. So now we have to click and drag is what we have to do. So I'm going to close this down because I need to hook up some event handlers. I'm pretty sure I cannot do that while I'm running. And I want to hook it up to the rectangle is what I want to do. So I'm going to say preview, mouse, down, new event handler, preview, mouse.
So before you jump down this particular route, I was curious. I remember last time we discussed this, I was having this half sort of thought in my head that it would be nice to involve a wheel mouse of some description, if possible.
Right.
Because it's a very intuitive way to dial stuff up and dial stuff down. The difficulty being that we were in a list, and of course, inherently in a list, you scroll up and down the list with that same kind of mechanic. But what if we were to apply a modifier? So scroll up and down scrolls up and down the list, but control scroll up and down takes the item you're hovering over and moves it left and right.
I love it. Let's do it. Let's do it. We'll totally do it. I just set these, the mouse moves. I got the events, but we don't have to do that. Let's get the mouse wheel. Do I have, so the mouse wheel, where am I going to do that though? I guess if I'm just trying to figure out where I'm going to handle that event. Is it going to be on the list box?
I'm not 100% sure of this. Well, I have to imagine that the events hit probably not the rectangle, but the item within it first. And if you don't handle anything there, it's then passed onto the list box, i.e. the parent. Would that sound about right?
Sorry, I was just looking at the chaos on the stream right now.
It is some interesting things going on. I think they're all just trying to beat my coin score.
Yeah.
Here I am doing some work, you see. So there you go. No, it's great fun. Look at them. Have it select. We've got 5 set. Oh no, hang on. Half of them are Mr. Magoo. See, Mr. Magoo.
And the Michael Jolly's all over the place too.
Jolly's got a couple instances too. So they're cloning each other and they're off. Oh wow.
What's interesting, remarkable about that dock is that those Michael Jollies, they persist. They persist.
He survived the snap, the end of the universe.
Let's try one more time. There we go. They're taken out. Okay. So yeah, there's something about the portals. There's a bug there. Yeah, Michael Jolly says you've been assimilated. That's pretty crazy. We do have some coins on the screen, so if somebody wants to clean those up for me, that would be nice. And if not, I guess I can hit some buttons here to make that happen. So. All right, so I'm thinking the mouse wheel, we take it on the list box is what I think we take it on. That's my guess. And we'll do that as well, and we will see what we can do here. So let's see, mouse wheel. Preview mouse wheel. Or mouse wheels, which should I take?
Are rectangles capable of intercepting this information? Because if they are, then do we not have access to the related data item that they...
Yeah, I think the answer is yes, we do, or we can find it. I think it's going to be the selected item. What I'm going to do is use the selected item of the list box. So I guess I was just trying to figure out, do we need to capture it in advance? I'm going to just say mouse wheel for now. We can change that later. New event handler, and there's our mouse wheel handler. So now if we go over to timeline.xaml.cs, we should see those new events are in fact right there. And let's, I don't know, what do we want to do? Let's set, I want to do a show. I set a breakpoint or should write some code. The preview mouse down, let's set a breakpoint. Preview mouse down. Let's run. And I'll drag it onto the main screen. So far, a better day than yesterday. Okay.
Yeah.
So here,
That's good.
here comes.
Better is always good.
Here comes the click. Huh? Nothing happened. Click. What's going on? Nothing is happening. Do I have the right one? Preview mouse down. Let's check it. It's here in the rectangle. It's in the
So
grid.
is it a case of preview it as in prior to it getting to what? Which order do we feel the events bubble?
The previews happen before the respective other ones happen, and even if I've got something on top of it. So I should get it. Oh, you know what could be happening? Hold on. I've got this right on top of it, and I think the preview may not be hitting it. Is hit test visible? Is set that equal to false? And are we still running?
Right.
Let's see. Ah, look at that feature.
So even in this circumstance, the XAML reboot, as it's eventually being, is now taking place, recreating our text blocks, recreating them in a manner where they don't intercept those mouse clicks, and the breakpoint we already had running is now hit.
Yeah,
Fantastic.
this is one of the single greatest Visual Studio features I think I have seen in a long time. I really like this feature. Okay, so now we're in the mouse down. Look what our sender is right here. CodeRushed is telling us it's a rectangle coming in. So the rectangle's coming in right there. We need to do a couple things. We need to do a capture. And should we capture? We should capture on, what is it? On the rectangle, I think. Whoops, hold on a second. I'm just like using tab to next reference here. So the rectangle's bringing this in. It's unnamed, but I think that's what we want to do. I think I want to come in here and say sender as a rectangle, like that, and declare a local for that, or maybe do something like this. Say if sender is rectangle. No, I don't think so. I think I want to go back the other way.
Rectangle is the thing sending, so...
And then I want to basically go like,
assume.
I just want to get out of here if it's not a rectangle. But then I want to come and say rectangle dot capture mouse, like that. I think that's what I want to do because the mouse is down on the rectangle. So I want the rectangle to now be in charge of capturing that mouse.
Oh, I see.
Is what I want to do. Then I think in my preview mouse up, I want to essentially have similar code here, but I want to uncapture that mouse here. And what is it? It's uncapture, release capture. Is it? Release mouse capture. That's what I want to call it there on the preview mouse up. And then I also want to, like, we need to do a couple things here. We need to figure out where the X position is here. So we got the E args coming in. So
you want the relative internal position of the mouse, of the cursor, within the rectangle, so that when you move, you maintain the same relative position.
Right, and I think I want it relative to the list box, which I think is, there it is right there, LB time entries, right there. If we just drill into that, you should see it in the XAML, there it is right there. That's our list box in our user control. Okay, so we're going to get our position there. We're going to declare a local on there, and we're going to call, wait a minute, let's do this. I only need the X. Let's declare the local again, and we're going to call this mouse down X, like this. Let's widen the scope, promote to a field, put it up there so I can save that and have that X elsewhere. We need to know the selected entry, I think. LB selected, no, LB, what is this? Time entries, there it is right there. Selected item.
Yep.
As timeline data, I think is what it is. I'm expecting to see it out here as, let's declare local there. And let's get out as, whoops, let's get out as well. If we are not, if it's null, nope, not the one I wanted. That's the one whoops, no. Oh, I hit yes. Sorry about that. Okay. I hit enter on it. Come on. What's going on here? It's not responsive. Doesn't appear to be responding. Clicking around. Come on. Come on. There it is. Okay.
Come on, Studio. We were nice to you earlier.
Yeah. Well, sometimes. All right, so if it's null, so anyway, we're going to have to run again because I wanted to see if that was selected item was timeline data. And because I think we're going to have to keep track of what we're, all right, so let's see. Click here, and let's see what we got. Rectangle's good. Capture mouse. A little nervous about doing capture mouse while debugging, but let's see what we got here.
Yes.
Ooh, nice. I got a nice X value, 229. That seems like a real value, right? Like something that I would have clicked about. Let's see what happens here. Oh, selected item is null. Guess who's not going to capture the mouse?
Yeah, you have previewed prior to actually selecting.
I'm going to just do this for right now and just set next statement there. I'm going to unrelease the mouse capture so I don't get into this crazy town. And then we're going to get out. So selected item is null here. That means nothing is selected. If nothing is selected...
I think the point is that if nothing's selected, should we bomb out of this straight away and allow the selection to happen?
Yes, that's
what. Single click for.
That's what I'm going to do. I'm doing that now.
Selecting, yeah.
So I'm going to say, I guess, let's do this. We're just going to say handles false here, and then down here we're going to say handles true, and then that'll prevent other folks from seeing this. That's kind of what the idea is there. I think there are ways around that, if I recall correctly from okay. So then if we're down to here, we get to capture mouse. Let's set a breakpoint here and see if we ever hit that. So run. Okay, so I'm going to click here. Now I've got it selected. Now I'm going to click outside. Nothing's happening, but now I'm going to click inside the rectangle. Oh, I really wanted to hit.
That's a shame.
What do we got? Is it just it's a timeline entry. Rory?
It's just the wrong thing. So casts will automatically succeed, but reveal null because it did not match the requirement.
Yeah, let's do this too. Hold on a second. Let's use CodeRushed split initialization from declaration or just widen scope to field. That's what I should have just done. So now I've got an entry here, okay? And now I'm going to change this to that right there. And so now let's do this and keep that there and run. And now when I click on it, there we go. So now we've got an entry. We've got an X down position. We're moving its time is what we're going to need to move. So our next bit of code we're going to write is in the mouse move. Geez, and we only got 12 minutes left. I really, really, really want this to work. What I want to, since all we should have to do is move its start position of this entry. Right, this entry is a timeline entry. Let's just look at that one more time. It's got start, duration, name, and data. That's what it has. Yep. We want to move its start position is what we want to do.
Just changing the start. We'll keep it the same relative size for now and just move it across.
So, and since we're going to be moving it while we're dragging it, I think what I want to do is this. This is my idea. I'm storing the original mouse down X. I'm thinking I want to store the original start time as well. Now, we're going to be changing it as we drag. But when we drag, we're going to see how far we've moved from the original mouse down X and then adjust the time from its original start time. See what I'm saying? I think that's the way we have to do that.
Directly and then have everything react accordingly, exactly the way it already is.
So let's do that. So let's say entry dot, come on, start time, start. And let's do a declare local on that, and then let's come in and say widen scope, promote to field, pop it right there. Did that? Oh, there, and there we go. So there's we've now got a start. Let's change the name of this. Let's call this start time, or mouse down time, mouse down start time. Because this does not correspond to where the mouse is. It corresponds to where the start of the entry we clicked on is. Okay? And so let's set the next statement here. And let's clear that breakpoint there. And let's set a breakpoint here on mouse move. And holy cow. Okay, here we go. Okay, so I've got to move now. I just moved over it and it's doing its thing. So we need to come in here. We need to kind of need to copy some code here. I think. Can I do this? I'm going to rename this to this X, and that is going to be a type double. And so that's going to call it its position there. Then we need to basically say we need a variable type double that is going to be What is wrong with that? VD. Why isn't VD expanding to variable type double? Can you note the time, Rory, on this?
Got it.
ND is working. VD is not, and it looks like it is. If I hit escape, yeah, it's still not working. I'm not sure what's going on with that. That's a CodeRushed template I'm expecting to expand for me, and I'm not sure it could be a Visual Studio 2019 thing. I can work around it by typing in ND for new double, and I'm going to say it is equal to, we're going to say this is the distance moved, and that's going to equal to my mouse down X minus this X. I think I got that order right. Where I first clicked minus, no wait, hold on a second. If I click and move to the right, I've moved to the right in a positive value. So I actually have to take my final destination and subtract my starting destination.
Yes.
That's what I have to do. Okay, so there's my distance moved. And then from there, I think I have to calculate my time change is what I think I have to do. This, I also need, entry, hold on. I need to do something like this. E.handled is equal to false. And then I want to say if, I've got a shortcut INX. If entry is null, then we get out. Okay? But if entry is not null, meaning we are, in this zone, by the way, in my preview mouse up, I need an entry is equal to null. Right there. Okay? So,
yes, declare it out afterwards.
Yeah, because that's kind of our flag for telling us if we're dragging.
Will just trigger anyway.
Yeah, I think you're right. Okay, so there's our release capture there. All right, so distance moved. Now we need to convert distance moved to...
effectively a fraction of time to add.
Yeah, a fraction of time.
Or subtract, for that matter.
Exactly. So let's figure out the distance moved to a fraction of time, I think. So let's see.
We need our factor, don't we?
I think we do. I think we're going to say... I just want to do VD again to watch it. Oh, there it worked. Can you mark this time as well, that it worked just a little bit later?
Yeah.
There might be something with regards...
Literal 2-minute gap, and it was working and not working.
Yeah, but also when I did... Hold on a second. VD, and I hit escape, and I hit space. Yeah, the other time that other UI came up. So so I guess we can call this like factor, and we can say that's equal to distance moved divided by my total width, my actual width. This is the control I'm in. So I should be able to say actual width, and then now I've got this times 0.9 kind of hack now in two different places.
True. Yeah.
Let's put it over here. Let's declare constant for this right here. And we're going to call this container. What is this going to be called? Percentage container. Percent width.
Container hack width.
Container hack width. Yeah.
Container hack percent. Yeah.
Hack percent width. All right, fine. We're going to do that. We're going to make that public right there. And then now I'm going to come out here and I'm going to say that dot hack percent width.
Always a good idea to do this. If you're going to have that little hack and you're going to use it in multiple places, try to refer to a single location where that value is stored. Because otherwise, you're going to come back, you can alter one of them, not alter the other, and there lies just the source of so many problems.
And I do like this name here, indicating, to do find the actual width of the grid in the visual tree. I think that's really what we want to do there, is of the parenting grid in the visual tree. So we can do that later. All right, okay. 5 minutes.
We can do this. We've got a distance moved and we've got a factor. What do we multiply the two together and then add the results to...
Well, hold on a second. I want to be like, I want to do... well, I'm not inside. For some reason, I'm just totally blanking out on what we need to do here. Let's go to the time. We'll look at we'll play with the time for a little bit. The distance moved. This distance. That's the factor. Oh, we've got our total time. Total duration is somewhere in here. I think it's property. Is it property? This guy. Total duration. So this is in seconds right here. Dot 2 seconds. Total seconds. Total seconds like that. So this is our total seconds, okay? That's corresponds to this part right there. Okay?
Yes.
So hold on a second. I'm like,
So we've already got the pixels we've moved relative to the total pixels. And what we need is the amount of time relative to the total time.
yeah.
Using that same factor. So is
this
it not
figure right
total
here is,
seconds times
hold on.
factor?
Hold on 1 second. I think I can, let me, why don't I have this is interesting. I'm looking at this and I don't have an introduce local right here. Is it because it's not in parens? I bet that was it. Introduce local. Okay. Okay, so let's introduce a local for that. And we are going to call this actual width. This is like our pixels per total time span. I'm not sure we need the factor is the answer to the question. And then, and because the total time span is in seconds, right? And so whatever that total time span is, so if we do, or wait, hold on, pixels per, let's do it this way, pixels per second, and then we can divide it by this. That divided by this. And I think that's our pixels per second.
That's, yes, okay.
Okay, and now if we have our distance moved, that's our distance, and we divide it by our pixels per second, that gets us our time. Okay, so TD time moved is equal to that, right? Because we divide by pixels per second the same as multiplying by seconds per pixel. And so now we've got distance on the top, distance moved in pixels, and seconds per pixels on the bottom, essentially, which means they'll cross out, which means our units are seconds. So that actually should be a TTS
so
right there.
A time.
Time span. And this should be a TTS dot from seconds. Okay. So, all right. So there's our time moved. And hold on, though. Got a potential problem here. Distance moved could be negative. And I'm pretty sure we can't do a negative value inside of here. So,
really?
Well, let's see.
Surely a negative number is a valid time. We could do an absolute.
Well, I guess what my concern is if it's a negative, like a small number, am I going to get a giant time span or a negative time span? Does it wrap in the other ways? We'll see. We'll see. We'll set a breakpoint here and see what happens and see if it ever gets. If distance moved is ever negative, we'll set a breakpoint. We'll do that. Okay, so if distance move is less than 0, then I'll just set a breakpoint right there. And we'll do that. What is wrong? Am I missing something out here? Semicolon. Okay, so there's my semicolon. Time moved is here. It looks like we can step through. I was just looking at this. Entry is good. Okay, there's my X position. Here's my distance moved, 25. It's positive. Pixels per second is 142. That feels reasonable. I said it was 5 seconds, so 142 times 5. That gets me across. That feels reasonable. So let's see what our time moved is. Time moved from there also looks good. Okay, so now we got to go back to the original time. So now we have to say our entry. Let's go get our entry, our regular entry. We had code for that right up here. This. Yep. Or no, it's just entry. We don't need to get it. We just have it already.
From the previous.
Yeah. So we're going to say entry dot start equals.
Plus equals.
No, this is where we can't do that.
Time span to a time.
No, we don't want to do that because we got our mouse down start time here, right? Because we're moving this, we have to use this one because otherwise it'll accelerate as it moves away. Do you see what's happening, right? Yeah. Because I have to use the original one plus time moved.
Okay.
All right. And let's see if that works. I think I missed it there. Hold on. Let's clear this breakpoint. Let's run it. Ooh, we got a less than 0. Now we get to find out the answer. Negative 24. And so let's see. It looks like it's okay. Time moved is there. And then so here we go to there. It looks like we're okay. You're totally right, Rory. I was a little scared for no reason. All right, so let's run it.
Cautious is okay.
All right, now.
Hey, look at that.
12 o'clock on my time right over here, Rory. What's your time over there?
It's pretty much right on the nail.
Right on the nose. Look at this. Let's see if we can get this one. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Oh, I have to select it. Look,
You have to select it first.
I have to select it.
You
Wait.
need to use the white space to do it.
Why
Can't.
am I not getting...
Because there's a difference between us clicking the list item, which is behind, or within,
Yeah.
or without, I should say, and clicking the rectangle. It intercepts it and never lets the selection happen.
Yeah, we need to figure that out. I'm not sure how we're going to do that. You got a few more minutes to try to see if we can figure that out, or you got to go? Where
I
are you?
kind of got to go, man.
Okay, buddy.
Sorry about that.
No worries. Hey, thanks for
All
being
right.
with us so much, Rory.
Success,
It was great fun. Are you with us tomorrow or no?
I'm not going to make the 100.
Oh, my God. You're not going to make the 100 show.
No, I've user group meeting.
All right. Maybe tomorrow we'll do the 100.
awful.
We'll do the 101st show, and then we'll backtrack
Yeah.
next Tuesday.
Well, what does it say? It's the
100th show.
101st account. Nothing happened on 0, right?
Yeah.
The millennium was 2001, right?
I don't remember if I started with episode 0 or not. I might have. We might actually be in the 100th show, in which case, great show to be in. All right. So we got to figure out how to get to fix that. Is what we have to do. Also, I want to make it. Rory, you're leaving, right?
I'm off.
Okay, buddy.
I will catch you on next Tuesday, I believe.
We'll see you next Tuesday, buddy. Thanks so much. Appreciate it. All right. We'll keep going while Rory's off. That was pretty cool. We got most of what we wanted. I want to fix this so that this doesn't go here. I want to make it stop and not go less, so it can't start before 0. So I think my breakpoint's going to be right about there. And I think it's the check is... I think it looks like this. Can I check if this is less than 0? I bet I can, but I can also just check if this is less than 0. So let's do this. If distance move is less than 0, meaning we're going backwards, we're going this other direction. If it's less than 0, then well, let's do this instead, actually. If it's greater than 0, I want to do this. No questions asked. Otherwise, it's less than 0 or 0. Then I want to say, if the time moved No, wait, I have a better idea. I have a better idea. Let's do this. Entry start math max. I'm not sure if we can do a math max with the times. That would be awesome. Can we? How sweet would that be? I love it if it is. Let's try it. Math.max. Got 11 of them in here. Any of them a time span? No time spans. Yeah, I can there's a lot of ways to do this. I'm not happy with any of them. I think what I'm going to do is this. I'm going to do this instead. I'm going to say, let's do this. Let's declare a local for this. And then we're going to say this. We're going to say if time span dot is total seconds going to give me a negative number? I bet it does. Is less than 0. I think we can do that. Then we're going to say this is start is equal to TTS dot from seconds and pass in 0. I could also pass in time dot 0, but I think this is, I feel like I know this will work in the other. I'm not sure if I'm going to get some weird side effects. Otherwise, we're going to say entry start is equal to time span. And let's rename this to new start, like that. Okay, and let's run, see if that works. Here we go. That works. Okay, cool. Again, though, I've got this weird thing here going like this. Okay, let's try and figure this out. When I click this rectangle is not the same as this one right here. I guess the problem I'm having here is that what I want to do, I need to kind of go from the rectangle inside this event handler here back out to the data associated with that, right? Because we're getting the entry here by doing the timeline entry here. We're getting that just by getting the selected item. But here in the mouse move, we only have access to that selected item. We don't have access to the actual element, the piece that's connected to this. And because of the visual tree of this thing, Let's see. Can we jump inside of here? Yeah, so here's our list box. Here's a scroll viewer. Here's our presenter. There's our items presenter. Here's the list box item. Okay, so we're down here in the rectangle. And we kind of need to go up to where? To, is it here? Do we have a data source here that would give that to us? Data context. Ooh, but there it is. Look at that. It's the timeline entry. Is that data context right there? And that's of the list box item. So one thing I could do is I could go up the visual tree. Hold on a second. This is such we did this before. Hold on. Okay. Let's do this. Visual tree. Navigation or find control maybe. Find control. Yeah, the time span from seconds, Will, I was thinking about that too, and I was just like, it was just getting messy to me. I was like, in my head, I was like, yeah, it's ultimately, there was I feel like no really super elegant way to do it, but I feel like this is a not bad way, and it's pretty elegant in terms of reading. It's readable, it's pretty readable. Find control in the visual tree, is this what I'm looking for? Find child, I think that's it. I like one that is generic. I've seen them before. Can somebody... Wait, let's do this. Let's go to the first one. Oh, voice is giving out. Find child. No. Get child, get children count. No. Let's try this. Find control in visual tree, see if we get any better results. Do I have to save a WPF? Hold on. Let's see what Bing does. Yeah, same one. All right, well, we can use this. Fine. Oh, well, there's generic right here. Interesting. I'm remembering the code as more concise for this. Oh, and this is find child, too. We don't want to find child. We want to find parent. Find parent in visual tree. See if this is easier, better. There we go. That looks like it's going to be good. There we go. I'll take that. That makes me happy. All right. So let's see. We want to put this up here. We're not running yet, are we? Oh, we are running. No changes allowed yet. And so that's going to be in our mouse down right there. So let's go see if we can trigger that. We're down here. I'm going to click a mouse down up here. Let's get that piece right there, the find parent. Doesn't like it. I think we're going to have to stop and restart. Okay. Okay, so let's try again. We're going to run it. And now I'm like, wait, what am I trying to find again? It was the list box item. That's what it is. All right. Okay, so here we go. Click here. I'm just going to run. Wait, what's happening? Okay, there we go. Just going to run. Now click here. And now I want to say find parent. List box item. Like that. of sender. Let's see what we get. Nope, not declare method. What is wrong here? Sender, as dependency object. Do I have a DDO? Yeah, nice. I've got a DO shortcut there. So to get dependency object really quick, I typed in T for type reference and then DO for dependency object. All right, cool. Declare local. We're going to call this the parent list box item. Like that. And we're going to just say if it's not null, then we're going to do something with it. Look at its data source. Whoops, whoops, whoops. We had a problem back here. I didn't see that. Let's try it again. Okay, whoops, there it is right there. So click here, now click up here, down. All right, what is our problem here? So rectangle, get parent as T. If parent is not null, otherwise we find parent, we're back in again. Get parent, exception unhandled. Value cannot be null. Child is null. I don't like this code. What's going on over here? What's going on? Get parent visual tree helper gets us to null. All right, well, we can add some code here. So basically we're coming back. We can't get it that way. All right, let's try something different. Let's do this. We're gonna get rid of that idea. That might be, I might be able to make that work, but I'm like, all right, I'm kind of, I feel like we couldn't get to the parent. There's something that's not working in terms of following it up. I have a feeling the parent property might not be set on that and set correctly. Child will always be null there. It's in the else branch. Wait. Let me undo. No, this is if parent is not null, right here. Then we're told return parent. Otherwise, it's really, right. It should be that. Or even better, instead of calling this twice, let's try this. Introduce local. No, immediate. Okay, so immediate parent. And otherwise we do this. Yeah, the code is wrong. Weird, and the code is wrong. Okay, so that looks like better code. Let's go back and try and make that work. We'll run that. Yeah, thanks, Will. Codebase Alpha is rated with a party of 5. Thank you, Codebase Alpha, for that raid. Good to have you, everyone there with us. We are in the middle of trying to create a timeline control in WPF. That's what we're doing. And so we have basically gotten to a point where we can, Codebase Alpha says, you're welcome. Yeah, no, definitely appreciate it. So we've got it so we can start to drag these back and forth. That's what we've got right now. This is in PowerPoint. This is what we started with the spec today. And where we are is essentially, I think, here. I've got a breakpoint right here. Let me just clear the breakpoint for a second, run it, and so you can see what we've got. We have the ability to now take our timeline entries and move them back and forth. This is just a list box here that's repurposed here. I can click down here, select this, and move it as well. But what I can't do, I cannot, if I click here and try to move, look what happens. So we're fixing this bug right now. And the problem is that I'm clicking on one that's not selected. That's the problem. So let's return that breakpoint right here again. Let's come in here and we'll click that. And now come in here and hit F10. Do we have it? Now we got a list box item. Beautiful. Yeah, the code was wrong. The code is wrong. Okay, the code is wrong. What is going on with that? That code is wrong. Let's put our code in there. And we'll fix that. Copy, and boom, like that. Wait, that's not where I put code. What's going on? This is my help. That's not what I want. There's my code. Here we go. Get rid of my, is that really? Oh. Hold on. Replacing tabs with spaces here in the selection. Replace all, replace next. Okay, just so we can get that and copy it. Copy it. What is this? Squiggly. Whoa, really? Holy cow. Modifying white space or comments in a generic method will prevent the debug session from continuing. That's a tight restriction. All right, well, I just needed that to get copied to the clipboard, and I think we're good. Let's go paste it in so we can help other people much better. Get rid of that. We don't need the help anymore. Postgres contains code that is not properly formatted as code. Please indent all code by 4 spaces using the code toolbar button. What is that? No, that's code sample. Yeah, I don't see the code toolbar button. Press Control K keyboard shortcut. Fine. Hold on. Does it want? All right, well, it wants 4 spaces. Fine. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. How's that? Happier? Okay. And then how do I specify the language? Oh, there we go. It figured it out. Excellent. There's sign up. I am a login here. Let's log in. What? Oh, jeez. Hold on. Sorry, I know this is like taking way longer than it should. However, I'm pretty sure Stack Overflow knows who I am from Chrome. There we go, a little happier. And let's copy that. Come back over here, paste it. And I should probably include a bug in the, why is code not? Bug in the previous code sample fixed below. What just happened? I think it thought I just said run it. Nope, that's not what I want. Wait, JavaScript, HTML code snippet. No, that's the one I want. Right there. Okay, there's the paste. All right, how does it look? Post your answer. Fine. Okay, There we go. All right. Apologies for that. Leave. Okay. So here we go. We now have our list box item, or a parent rather, and I think we have a data context inside of it. There it is right there. Data context timeline entry. So then we're going to say to data context as timeline entry. Declare local on that. And now we want to say if not null. Then we're going to say, so now we found the entry. Whoops. Now what we want to do is we want to check to see if the selected entry is different from it. So actually, I think I want to take this code and actually move it down to after we get the entry. And now I want to say, okay, look, is the selected item different from the one we just clicked on? And if it is, I want to get out. And so I want to say if timeline entry is not null, is it sufficient to just say that? If timeline, because if it's null, no, because if it's null, that's not okay. If it's not null, then I want to say if timeline entry is not equal to entry, then I want to get out. Okay? And if entry is null as well, I want to get out. Let's get out with that first. That's a way simpler one here. If entry is null, then we're out. And let's see if that works. Clear, run. No, what's my edit? Modifying generic method. So let's restart. Here it is. And now I'm going to click and wait, what's happening? Uh-oh. Value cannot be null. So we still have null coming in here, is what we have. Let's come in here and say if child equals null, then let's get out. Let's return null, like that. Okay, let's clear it, break everything, and run again. Okay, bring it over. Here it is. Click, drag, and now click. Not working at all. It just makes me sad. Okay, let's set a breakpoint and see what's going on with regards to this. I think probably right about here. See what's happening here. So this one's selected. Let's click on the one above. I'm not even getting at the breakpoint. Why am I not getting at the breakpoint? I don't get that. Let's try this again. Click. Okay, here we go. Parent list box item is null. Uh-oh. This code didn't work. So somewhere along this path, we're finding wait, oh Jesus, look. We fixed the code, but somehow the fix didn't get didn't stay with us. I think I hit undo or something in here. So let's try one more time. Find parent. There we go. Feels better. Run it again. And is this going to fix it? I'm clearing the breakpoint so we can do the test again with the correct code in here. Okay, so that's selected. Now I'm clicking and dragging this. Yeah. Clicking and dragging that. Didn't wait. It seems like there's a bug there. That did not look good at all. This looks okay. Click here and it selects. Move. Click here. Okay, move. Click here. Okay, there, we've got a problem. So what is the problem? Now it worked. Yeah, it's not. I'm not liking it. It's some jumping around. So I'm not liking this finding parent approach. I'm going to comment it out for now. I'm going to try a different way to solve this problem. So that is all there. That code right there is the code I want to comment out. Let's do something else. Let's look at our timeline entries. And let's look at where we are adding these. Here we go into timeline data. Got this add entry piece right here. And what I think I want to do is I want to index these. I want to basically come in here and do something like this. Index is equal to entries.count. Like that. So index is equal to index into entries.count. Let's declare that. Declare as a property auto implemented, I think. Is that fair? Do I need an on property change on this? I'm going to set it once and never change it again. Can I set it if it's... Can I do that and will this line of code compile still? Nope, it will not. All right, let's do something different then. I just want, all right, fine. I'll just, you know what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep it public setter. All right, so there's the index. I don't have an on property change associated with it because I'm not anticipating changing this. So it's something we're kind of internally changing. I guess I could change the visibility to internal. By the way, in CodeRushed, change visibility, just get on the declaration, Alt, up and down arrow. That's what I'm using right here to cycle through the different visibilities. So I'm going to switch that to internal. Is that going to work? Am I going to need to bind this for any reason? I think I might, so I'm going to move it back to public. All right, so now what I want to do is I want to put this on the rectangle in the XAML is what I want to do. So here's my rectangle. And it's a little gross, I think, what I'm about to do. But I'm basically coming in here. I'm going to use the tag, get a binding, and bind to the index property. And I should, is that correct? Is that what I need to do? Yeah, I think that's going to work. Wait. Is that going to work? Binding index. I think it will. I think that's going to work. Index. And so that's on the actual piece that's out there. And so that's in the tag. So now if we do that, let's set a breakpoint over in our timeline XAML. And we're going to get a, in the mouse down here, we're going to we'll set a breakpoint there, right here. So the breakpoint. All right, and let's run it. Okay, so I'm going to click here to make that one selected, then click in the rectangle here. What do we got for rectangle? Do you have a tag property that's like a 0 or a 1? Or that's what I'm looking for. Tag 1. Perfect. So now what we can do is we can come in and say, okay, rectangle dot tag, and I want to typecast that as an integer, I think, and that's going to be my index is what that's going to be. So let's declare local there. We'll call it our index. Now, let's see if index is not equal to lb time entries dot selected index, and let's exit out there. Let's see if that's the case. So we should see. So that's 0. This one we haven't set yet because we need to bring the set the next statement up here, and we're out. This may have saved us. I think this may be our fix. Okay, so I can click and drag here, Now I'm going to click up here, and I can't immediately drag, but it does select. Notice what happens. See that? And now I can click and drag it. So it's kind of an extra click where I have to select it and then drag it, but I'm not minding it. It's not bad. I think I'm going to stop because my, I'm still fighting this, whatever this is I've got. Tomorrow, I think we're going to work on resizing this. So we can drag and resize these. And then, if not tomorrow, next Tuesday, we're going to, Roy will be with us, and we will take it to the next step and wrap our special effects around this. This is for changing our the timing of special effects that will fire off in sequence. So we've got a particle system, we've got animations, and we have sound effects. And I'm basically creating a sound effects editor, and that's what we'll use this control for. Oh, okay. Better listen what I'm saying, says Mark. Big thanks for helping me. Last week I watched you first time your stream. There was a moment when you said it's where simple and something switched in my head, and now I am able to read the code more easily. Okay. Well, hey, thank you for saying that as well. I am part of what I'm doing this because I think that there's a value in sharing this. There's, even though I'm not an expert in this stuff, I think there's a value in kind of watching the battle between, what you want it to be and what it is. And as you kind of, shape it into submission. So appreciate that. Codebase Alpha says good stuff as well. +1. Thank you, Codebase Alpha. And I just noticed Will Bennett, looks like you tried to invoke a sad panda. It didn't happen. We might've been on another screen. And it says, are you not trying to drag when it's not selected? So intuitively, I think you want to select the one that is clicked on and start dragging. Just add a selected property and bind to that. Set it to true on mouse down and drag as usual. Add a selected property and bind to that. I'm not sure. I guess I'm wondering, why can't I just change it? I hear what you're saying, and I'm thinking, okay, yeah, that's a good idea. Let me, I can't comment that out right there. Let's, can I simply do this in the mouse down? Let's set a breakpoint right here. Can I just select it manually? In other words, if I click here, can I just come in and say, is this going to be crazy if I do this in the preview mouse down and keep going? Let's see. Yeah, that's the fix. I think that's the simplest fix right there. Now I can just click up here, click up there. Yeah, I agree with you. It's better this way. It was a compromise before and better this way. Thanks, Will. Great suggestion on that.
Will Bennett rocks.
Will Bennett rocks. Every day he brings value to this show. Okay, so with that, I think I'm going to end the show. We got pretty good. We definitely made progress. We started from something that was not great at all. And now we have the ability to move our timeline entries around. We've created kind of a cool looking control. Tomorrow we'll make it so we can resize these. And I think that's good. I think it's time right now to give away a copy of CodeRushed.
CodeRushed.
Every day you're watching me essentially live dog food the product. I'm working with the latest builds from the team, and sometimes you might see a sneak preview of features that are about to come. In fact, tomorrow I might show you one that's pretty cool that we're working on. I would consider it a preview, but it's likely to come out in a preview version in the next release. We send out updates about every 30 days. And like I say, we give away copy CodeRushed. And all you have to do is follow. Today's winner is
Coder0001.
Okay, Coder0001. You have got yourself a copy of CodeRushed. I will reach out to you on Twitch, and we'll give you instructions for how to download that. Will, I'm noticing some of these aren't working here. Your Sad Panda and your CodeRushed attempt right there. Looks like that did not do it. We'll figure that out. Codebase Alpha. I love that icon there that you just put out there. It looks really fun. And we'll see. Thanks again to Rory as well, SQL Mr. Magoo, everybody else who's out there. Better listen to what I'm saying. Thanks for that feedback. Really appreciate it. And we will see you tomorrow.